Good morning, Santa Clarita. You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220. I am attorney Wade Skalsky, and this is Wade Beyond The Courtroom. On the board with me today is Mike. Mike, how are you?
Doing well, sir. How are you?
I am great. I'm so excited. We're going to have some performing arts people on today.
Fun time.
Talented people. I actually... Nice. I love these applause drop-ins.
Small gathering today.
That's right. So I prepared for today's show on the drive-in. I listened to some lute music.
Lute?
Yes. If you were going to be in a German court in the medieval times, lute music is huge.
I have no lute music on file here.
So now I sprung it upon you.
Yeah.
You're, how dare you? So
I'd love to have prepared for that.
So, well, now I'm in the proper frame of mind with the lute music. And but to all seriousness, I'm so excited. We have some very talented people with us today. And the first person that we're going to be talking to is a woman by the name of Heather Dowling. Heather, do I have you on there?
You do. Hi, Wade.
Heather, welcome to the show. How are you today?
Great. Hi, I'm really good and excited to get to chat with you.
Good. Well, we're excited to chat with you. So,
now, does Heather play the lute?
I don't know. Heather, do you play the lute?
I'm an actor, so under special skills, of course it says I do, and then I work it out.
Nice.
Yes, under special skills it says mountain climber, lute, and sailor, right?
Yodeling.
Exactly.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, good. Well, Heather, the reason why we're having you on today is you're actually doing a solo show in the Fringe Festival. Is that fair to say?
That is correct. I wrote and will be performing my very own one-woman show.
Now, have you ever done a one-woman show before?
I have not.
Nice. So it's possible that there could be some production fireworks, if you will.
Yeah, it's a way bigger deal than I even comprehended. Like, I knew the writing was huge, the performing would be huge, but the production of it is a much bigger task than I had imagined, and I'm getting a workout, let me tell you.
Nice. Well, so what is the name of your show, Heather?
It's called Unemployed Finally.
Well, that seems like that should not be a goal.
Right?
Okay. So
the point of the story is that it took me 30 jobs in 30 years, but I'm finally getting to do what I want. And I had a lot of really great stories to tell about those 30 jobs that came before choosing to be an unemployed, for now, actress. So
now I've met you in person. I know that you're very young, so you started your jobs. You're like the Doogie Howser of jobs when you were like 2, correct?
My first job. I actually started my first job when I was 14.
Right. Well, what are some of the more interesting jobs that you've had out of the 30 jobs that you'll be talking about in your show?
Well, the one that seems to surprise people when they meet me the most, because I'm pretty girly and I've always been into the arts, is that I was in the Navy, and that always kind of throws people.
That's very appropriate for this weekend, absolutely.
It is, isn't it? And I was also a newspaper reporter without a degree in journalism, so that's kind of a twist as how that came to happen.
Well, now you'd be called a blogger.
Oh.
Yeah. Yeah, I had deadlines, though. That's the difference.
That's true.
But, yeah. And then I also worked in sales for a transmission company.
Transmission in terms of radio transmission like we do, or transmission in terms of vehicles?
Like in a car.
Oh, okay. Now, you don't, no offense, but, you and I are friends, and we've talked, and
Here it comes.
Right. Here comes about to drop the boom on
ready.
you.
I'm
That's right. So you don't strike me as a car person. Your husband, Mike, seems more like the car guy.
Yeah, neither, but definitely not me. And in fact, there's some moments in the show specifically about the irony of me working in that field. So yeah, that's definitely a plot point, if you will, because I've had less than stellar behavior when it comes to car ownership. There was a series of time where I went through like 5 cars in about 2 years.
Oh my!
Wow. So did you get like a punch card for your car dealership where you would just sort of have them punch your thing for every car you bring in? The 6th car was free.
Yeah, I think they were more like, now we're just tired of seeing you. I think that's more kind of how that went.
Heather, that one's for free. You can put that one in your show if you'd like.
Thanks. I'm going to make a note right
That's
now.
right. Yes. I'm already, everyone's a producer. Everyone's a director. Everyone wants to, well, why don't you do this?
Oh, I'm ready for that. Well, I know what so many of my friends that are coming to see the show are performers and producers and writers. It'll be interesting to hear the feedback.
So let me ask you this. So what I know that you're an actor, and so you've gone through the process of sort of doing that. So what motivated you to do your own show?
Honestly, I have to give credit where credit's due. My brother-in-law, who's a very successful writer, was when I finally became unemployed for good for my last job, he was like, one of the great ways to showcase yourself and create some work for yourself is to write a one-woman show. And boy, these stories you tell us about all the jobs you've had are hilarious. Like, you should do a one-woman show about that. And I looked at him like he had lost his mind, because to me the stories aren't that funny. They're just my life. But then as we started retelling them, like, you know what? There's a lot of material here. And it just became kind of it took life from there.
The transmission monologues.
Yeah.
Again, another one for free. The Wade Beyond the Courtroom is just filled with creative material for you guys.
I'm just thinking out loud. I mean,
well, Heather, I'm so impressed by that for this reason, is that, lots of people will always tell someone, hey, you're very talented and that's funny and you should do a show, or hey, you're very talented and you should, cut an album, or hey, you're very talented, maybe you should go sell transmissions for cars. And you actually are the type of person that actually did that. So I think that's, kudos to you for that. And Heather, can you stay over the break for a little bit?
Yeah, absolutely.
All right, great. Well, when we come back, we're going to talk a little bit more to Heather Dowling. We're listening to Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I am attorney Wade Skalsky, and this is Wade Beyond the Courtroom. Welcome back. You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220. I am attorney Wade Skalsky, and this is Wade Beyond the Courtroom. Mike, we're very far beyond the courtroom today. We're in the world of the performing arts, and you're listening to Heather Dowling. Heather, are you there?
I sure am.
Good. We're actually not listening to you. We're talking to you. I guess it's more interactive than that.
True.
So, Heather, I wanted to hold you over, and I wanted to chat with you a little more about, so you wrote the show, and then you're also producing it as well. Have you ever produced anything before?
No, I haven't. And, it's given me a tremendous amount of insight. With the work I've done on stage, I think actors in particular can sometimes take for granted all the other moving parts and pieces that have to happen. So I have a lot more empathy now for directors and producers, especially of theater, and what it takes in this town to actually get a professional, style show up on its feet.
Well, I can definitely tell you that I take Mike for granted every day. And so, Mike, I would like to tell you thank you, Mike, just because Heather made me think of it.
It is National Producer Day, by the way.
That's right. So
every day. Yeah.
So, Heather, how can people find information about your show?
Well, the easiest way is to go to unemployedfinally.com. It'll link directly to the Hollywood Fringe site for my show, where you can get more information about what it's about, what I'm about, and the dates and times.
So, and then which theater is your performance in?
So, Theater Asylum is one of the classic theater spaces down on Santa Monica Boulevard, and I'm in one of their smaller spaces. It's called the Elephant Studio. And people need to get their tickets because it's a small space. I'm going to sell out at this space.
Well, my wife and I already have our tickets, and so we're very excited to go. And I know that Theater Asylum is a very well-run theater since we had Matt Quinn on last week. So, yeah, we're very familiar with Theater Asylum and big fans of them. Well, Heather, I wanted to thank you so much for coming on today. I am so excited to see your show, and I know that I think Mike has got the thumbs up for that as well.
I do, yeah.
We're going to get Mike down to the Fringe Festival and get him some culture.
I hope my transition holds
great.
out.
And I can't wait to see your show too, Wade.
Well, that's a topic for a different time, Heather. But no, so this is all about you. And again, the show is Unemployed Finally, 30 jobs in 30 years and finally doing what she wants. So
that's right.
Heather, if there was a parting shot for people, what you wanted them to take away for your show, what would it be?
I promise they'll laugh. I also predict they'll cry a little. And I also promise that when they walk out, they'll really be looking at what are they passionate about, what is it that they want to go do in life.
Wow, that is great, and I can't wait to see your show and have those experiences. So thank you so much, Heather, for coming on today.
Bye, guys, and thanks, Mike.
Bye-bye, Heather. Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Have a good day. I like her. She's nice.
Yeah, I was cracking up about the transmission job.
That was great.
Yeah, no, because
I could have gone so many ways with that, but being local radio on Sunday morning, I didn't.
That's right. Well, no, but it's funny because she's sort of a jack of all trades, and I've met her and her husband, and her husband actually got a very interesting story as well. He actually used to work for an NFL football team. So
oh wow!
I don't know if I can say which one. So if it's a secret or something.
What are the colors?
I can't tell you
really. The colors, really.
So
Wow.
Well, no, I just don't know. Maybe he signed some kind of disclosure agreement. I have no
Okay.
idea. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the lawyer in me coming out right now. It's like we better not talk
we
about
turned
that.
we're back in the courtroom.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right. More lute music. Did you find some lute music?
There's no late music here.
Okay, perfect.
Hey,
perfect.
we got another call here.
All right, I know. We've got someone else we better get to. So we've got another talented performer, playwright, jack of all trades on the line. We're going to be talking to Gregory Crafts right now. Do we have Greg on the line?
We do. Greg?
Yep.
There he is.
Oh, I'm
Hey.
making this is a record. I don't know if we've ever had two guests on the show before, so we're breaking all sorts of rules today.
Oh wow. Well, I'm honored to be the record breaker here. Thank you for having me.
Well, good morning.
So there's a good story with Greg. With Greg is that I went to an event and I knew no one there, and Greg was like the only person nice enough to talk to me. And I think that it's because Greg is really tall and I'm kind of tall, so we stick together as tall guys.
We got to stick together. We got to watch out for each other going through doorways and stuff like that, man. Because sometimes if you're just not looking, bam, you just walk right into it.
That's
know?
right.
So I look out for my tall brothers and sisters.
That's right. That's right. Now, Greg, you have kind of an old school look about you. You've got the goatee, and it's funny. I was driving down the 210, and I saw the Renaissance Fair billboard. Does anyone ever say you kind of look like that dude on the Renaissance Fair billboard a little bit, minus the armor?
I haven't been given that specific comparison before, no, but I do have to laugh at that because I'm a D&D geek and a live action role player and a Renaissance Fair geek and all that. So it's like, well, I take that as a compliment.
Nice. No, I take it as a compliment as well. Look, if someone's going to say, you kind of look like a knight in shining armor riding on a horse pointing manly at me, then yes, that's good. So I would take that.
That's like the greatest compliment you could ever give me. Wow. Thank you. Seriously, thank you.
Well, I will let you in a little secret that only you and perhaps two other listeners will understand is that I do know what the Borderlands are from Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh, boy. And you visited the keep there, huh?
That's all right. That's right. So, Greg, let's get into a little bit before we take a break and bring you back. So you are a playwright, and you also are involved with Theater Unleashed. Tell me a little bit about them.
Wow. Theater Unleashed is a company that a bunch of friends of mine and I formed back in 2008. Some of us were part of another company in Hollywood, and we were really unhappy with how things were being run. And we were a bunch of actors, and we had never really produced anything on our own before, but we were like, how hard could it be? We learned very quickly that it's very hard, but, we didn't know that at the time, so we decided to split off, form our own company, create our own opportunities, and really work on developing our own work. And so the company was focused on developing new original works developed in-house. We do a lot of lesser-known plays by known playwrights and a lot of new takes on old classics.
Okay.
And that was kind of the way that we wanted to go. The basic idea was we don't want to have to do stuff that has rights attached.
Gotcha. Well, great. Well, sorry, go ahead.
Oh, no, it's okay.
No, I was just going to say, I'm really excited to unpack this with you. We're going to take a break right now because we're kind of up against it, but I want to make sure that we have a lot to talk about when we come back from the break. I am attorney Wade Skalsky, and this is Wade Beyond the Courtroom. Welcome back, Santa Clarita. You're listening to your hometown station, AM 1220. This is KHTS. I am attorney Wade Skalsky, and this is Wade Beyond the Courtroom. We're talking with Greg Crafts from Theater Unleashed. Greg, do I still have you?
I'm still here.
Perfect. Well, so it was funny. I was thinking on the break when you're saying about that you guys were going to, start your own theater company, and that's such an entrepreneurial spirit. That's uncommon. I think that you may take that for granted. You're like, oh yeah, we'll just go ahead and do this. And just like when I was talking to Heather before I was speaking with you, and she was like, oh yeah, I'm just going to go do this. I think sometimes people underestimate that's an uncommon thing for people to do. So I'm very impressed by that. That's great.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I think a lot of our gung ho attitude was out of pure naivete.
Well, sometimes that's just as good,
Yeah, it's one of those where I don't really know how to describe it. Like we all jumped in with both feet. We all wanted this, and it was a group of us that were working really hard towards a common goal. And now we're 8 seasons in. We've built our own space in North Hollywood. We've put up 8 full seasons of some really great shows. We're getting consistent critical acclaim. We're not a top company in LA like Boston Court or like The Fountain or Sacred Fools or some of these much more robust and established companies that have been around 25, 30 years. But people are getting to know us. We're developing a base, and it's been a lot of blood, sweat, and tears. My wife and I joke that this is our child.
Right.
You know, that we have an 8-year-old, that this is our baby, because it needs just as much constant effort and attention. But it's something that, you know, when I think about the amount of work and effort it takes, I don't know if I would have jumped in this readily if I know what it was going to take. But we're really proud of where we're at, and I think we've created something really special. I mean, our group expanded from nine of us. We've got an ensemble of about 50 people now, and a whole network of associated artists and really wonderful people who are really committed to doing great stuff. And talking about that entrepreneurial spirit, just to give another shout out to a fellow Fringe show. Our friend Wade Wilson, who's a member of our ensemble, has taken that spirit himself and has taken a show that he's written and developed called Inside the Mind of Me, and decided to jump in and produce it at the Fringe this year himself. God bless him. He went in and had didn't have a very clear idea of what he was doing in terms of putting the show up and doing the Fringe and anything else, but he's just jumped in with both feet, and it's just like, I'm going to figure it out as I go. I'm going to make it happen.
Perfect.
He's got a fantastic cast.
Well, two things. That's great. Two things. One is that I actually have a link to that show because my wife was just in a Tornado Alley reenactment show with somebody that's in that cast, which I found fascinating.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Very nice.
And we'll talk about that later. But two, I wanted to make sure, because we're running up against on time, that we talk about your show in the Fringe Festival. So Sleeping Around, let's talk a little bit about that.
Oh my gosh, Sleeping Around. This show is a lot of fun. We were looking for a good Fringe show. My wife Jen just took over as artistic director of Theater Unleashed late last year, and typically artistic directors have a season pick about a year in advance of when the season is in question, and Jen was kind of given the reins and was like, "Here you go," and there wasn't a season for her to inherit. And so she wound up having to do a whole lot of prep really quickly, and I think she's put together a bang-up job. She's done a bang-up job putting together a season for this year, but the one thing that we had a problem with was finding a really good Fringe show. And we were just kind of asking around to friends and stuff like that, and Cesar Abella, who is a very talented playwright based up in San Francisco and is also one of our resident playwrights, sent us the script that he'd been working on. And basically it is a modern update of La Ronde, which is the French version of what was originally a German play that was written in 1900 and published in 1900. Didn't premiere until 1920 because it was too scandalous. And then even then, when it premiered in 1920, it caused a whole ruckus in Germany. The production was shut down. The people who put it up were ostracized because it deals with class politics and sexual politics. And basically the structure of the show is it's 9 scenes, and each scene features a pair of lovers, and all the scenes are interconnected because you'll have scene 1 is lover 1, lover 2, and then scene 2 is lover 2 and lover 3, and then scene 3 is lover 3 and lover 4, and it just goes all the way around until the very last scene where it's the final lover going back to the first lover, and it's and you just watch this interconnected web of sex and relationships, and now Caesar has taken that concept and updated it to 21st century relationships and dating. And we're really psyched to bring it to the Fringe. It really fits in well with our season dealing with gender politics and dealing with the genders and how we interrelate with one another. And I think it's going to be a fantastic world premiere. It's very sexy, it's very hot, but it's also very heartfelt, and I think it's a very intelligently written piece, and I think it's going to be a sleeper hit of the Fringe.
Well, I'm excited to see it. My wife and I already have our tickets, and we've got about a minute left, a little less, and I think we should talk a little bit about your promotional materials because they're you've got these postcards that if people go online and check out, you can go to theaterunleashed.org and find out information about Theater Unleashed, but if you go to the Fringe website and you search for Sleeping Around, the cover art, actually, it's not, I don't think it's scandalous, but you've had some pretty scandalous experiences.
We've had some people, be scandalized by it. It's a what we've done is it's like a rack card, which is like billboard proportions, but just in like postcard size. But it's all 9 of the cast members interlocked with one another, with our scene partners on either side of us, and we're all in our underwear.
Nice.
And
nice.
I think it's definitely very charged and very interesting, but it's not pornographic or anything like that.
Well, People are going to have to check. Yeah, people are going to have to check that out. We're out of time, unfortunately, Greg. I'd love to have you back on the show someday. And listen, if people want to check it out, just go to hollywoodfringe.org, search for Sleeping Around. You can also find out information on theaterunleashed.org about Greg's theater company. Great show today, Mike. Everyone, you've been listening to Santa Clarita's hometown station, AM 1220 KHTS. I am attorney Wade Skalsky. Stay safe, Santa Clarita, and we will talk soon.